You're listening to Goof On Radio with Rich Giordano.
My personal belief is that there is very compelling evidence that we may not be alone.
There has been and is an existing presence, an ET presence. It's not going to make a difference. It's not going to change reality.
I believe, as do the other folks that were on the flight, that when we visually saw it, that it was something not from this world.
Goof On Radio.
You were either in or you were either out, brother.
But the cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
Goof On Radio with Rich Giordano.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
Goof On Radio.
Remain seated, please. Permanecer sentados, por favor.
You're listening to Goof On Radio with Rich Giordano.
All right. Yeah. Welcome to Goof On, everybody. I'm your host, Rich Giordano. It is Saturday in the UK, October 15th, 2022. How the hell are you? Doing great. Doing good. It's a good show. Glad you all made it. Have a great weekend. Yeah, I'm just kidding. Come on, UK. I know I've got some New Englanders in here. I've got some, a bunch of other people in here from that side of the world. We're going to talk about the Greer interview with Curt Jaimungal and theories of everything. And some other stuff. We'll talk about some other stuff. But I hope you saw the interview anyway. If you didn't, it's up, and it is good. It's really good, actually. You know, it's Greer. Yeah, what are you gonna get? Same thing. But when I start this little preview, review, whatever we're doing, I'm gonna start halfway through it, about the hour mark, and then I'm gonna go to the beginning because I want to talk about things that I think are realistic. Greer talks about 0-point energy, clean energy, free energy, regrowing limbs, and then Curt got a lot of good questions in there, which you could see Greer just go, I didn't know that was going to be asked. Okay, how do I answer this question? Well, don't look nervous. Just whatever you do, sir, don't look nervous. He's talking to himself, you know. That's what it looked like to me in some of those questions. It's good. It was good. I didn't finish it. I didn't have, I just noticed it was up because I, was doing other stuff. And I watched almost all of it. So I think I came up 20 minutes short, give or take. But I enjoyed it. And I heard everything I think I'm going to hear. But real interesting things were said. Also, what else is going on in ufology? Is there anything going on? Is there? You tell me. You tell me. I don't know. But we're going to start off with the Greer interview right after roll call, everybody. Brett S., welcome to the show. David Wilcox, welcome to the show. Allah, Allah, Allah. Tim Freestone, welcome to the show. Michael, and is it Gian? I bet it is. Happy Rich. Thanks, man. Doing great. You too. Good to see you. Welcome to the show. D's House Genetics. How do you say? What do you be? Welcome to the show.
The Wild One.
Rebecca Wiles, the Lavender Rose. Welcome to the show. Hey, I think I just got a new intro for you there. WAF 007, welcome to the show. What's up, John Hunsley? Welcome to the show. Buongiorno. Mark D. Truth Searcher Us. Yeah, you got silenced, you said here. Now, let me see what was said. You basically stated that third phase of Moon owes ufology and the people who depend on them more scrutiny on the videos they post to avoid drama. That's not removable. Guys, if anybody in here is a moderator, we don't remove opinions, all right? As long as they look like that, that's fine. So please don't make your beliefs. That's not what we do here. Don't make your beliefs everyone's beliefs. All right? You're allowed to have your opinion, Mark. Sorry. Guys, be more careful on that. We only want to not ban, but you want to put people in timeout if they're swearing vulgar stuff. And you know what I mean. They have to step over the line. The P word, the C word, maybe sometimes the F word. And if it relates to something that isn't true, get them out of here. Put them in timeout maybe, or ban them. I'm just saying, opinions are allowed. So, don't make your opinions the right ones. Sorry, Mark. But always come to me if you have a question, guys. You know my email address is at the bottom in the description of every show. So if anybody here was ever blocked or, removed for whatever reason, just email me and let me know, and I'll investigate. And believe me, I've turned a lot, probably more than a dozen people back on unblocked and never had a problem with them again. Scott Blight, welcome to the show. Isaac Kenny, welcome to the show. Or never had a problem to begin with, I should say. I'm just saying they were never let go again. Let go. Paul Stoke, UK, welcome to the show today. Paul Tucker, welcome to the show. Brian. Yeah, I was just putting that up. All right, let's get to the start. Brooke is. Welcome to the show. Cosmic Dave, what's up, man? Welcome to the show. I don't know. You said Kurt looked so bemused. He did. Sometimes he did. Yeah, it was pretty, I enjoy, we're going to go right into it. I'm not going to waste much time here. Just bullshitting with you guys. Irish Jedi, welcome to the show. Yeah. Helen Crystal Energy, welcome to the show. Stavro, where is the proof? The proof is in your own pudding. What does that mean, you say? Well, some people don't need proof. Hey, FGraph72, been a minute, man. How are you? Good to see you. Hope you're okay. Welcome to the show, man. Randall Hill is here, everybody. Randy, I'm not going to lie. I think Coral blocked me because I was blocked from seeing her on every UFO channel, Alien Addict. No, you would have had to have blocked. Oh, yeah, or she blocked you, right. So you can't see her comments no matter where she went. Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, I don't know. You guys got to work it out yourselves. We're all adults here. Justin Maynard. What's up, Justin A.D. Maynard? Whoa. That was bizarre. Yeah, it was like there was I think maybe a power surge or something. Yeah, it was weird. I just saw the lights flicker. Marvindale Likens Jr. Welcome to the show. And Yoga with Denise. Welcome to the show. Good to see you. And Mike Johnson, everybody. Mike Johnson, welcome to the show. Glenn Collins, welcome to the show. Hey, what's up, Samo? Mind blown over UAPs, welcome to the show. And the one, the only, Dorothy Hawkins. What's up, Dorothy? Nice to see you, sister. Oh, just kidding. Misa's so happy. Jar Jar Binks made the show. Good to see you, Jar Jar. Hey, you guys sneaking in here? Baza de Bear. Bernie Muro is here, everybody. Welcome to the show. All right, I can't help it. I love you guys, man. Thanks for hanging out. This is the rest of my dinner. That's right. Hey, Sal, what's up?
It's the dinner of champions. It's my dinner and I'm going to drink it all.
Well, this is the third of it. So you guys want to hear something funny? So, kind of like an idle threat was made to me. Guess who? B. Baker. Do you guys remember B. Baker? I don't either. I forgot all about him until recently. I used to be a mod over here, and he was over at the Alien Addict show trying to create drama, talking shit in the chat room and everything. And when I leave and say goodbye to do my show, he posts something that says, he was acting like he was on Jeopardy, and he goes, "Things Goofon wouldn't say to my face for $100, Alex." Unbelievable. And then I got a text, a couple of them from him. Yeah. Seems like we must have hit a nerve. So B. Baker and I used to be pretty good friends, actually. And he, for no reason of anything I did, decided to let our friendship go because Third Phase of Moon jokingly called him a disinformation agent, and he got mad. And he left after 2 years of being on GoofOn, the main moderator guy and a good friend of mine, just decides to leave, get up and go. Now put yourself in my position. How am I supposed to trust anybody? It's very hard when you think you're not right-hand guy, but your main guy who's been with you and stuck up for you for 2 years just decides to get up and go because I'm friends with Third Phase of Moon. He was afraid his reputation was going to be hurt. You don't have a channel. You don't have you don't have anything. So I don't understand. And then he messages me, and this is why it's very difficult for me to trust anybody. It's very, very difficult because people act like they're your best friend, and now I'm at the point where I won't disclose anything to anybody. Even people that I'm close with, I have stopped opening up. Yeah. Just stopped, like yesterday. I'm done. So anything they have on me now, that's all you're going to get. All right. Use it sparingly, because you're going to need it probably. People recording phone calls. Like, I can't believe it. And the funny thing is, they're telling me stories about, things that go on in ufology, and they'll slip up and say, he didn't know I was recording that entire 2-hour conversation. I'm like, I don't know if you're recording our 2-hour conversation. Like, who? Why? You know what I mean? Like, why even bring that up? So it is very difficult. And that's not the only person. I know 3 people that were close to me who messed up the same way. Oh, he didn't know I was recording a conversation. So I'm like, how do I know you're not recording ours? So when I go into conversations, automatically now I'm thinking I'm being recorded. Sure, I'm still myself, but I'm not divulging any private information. Nobody's getting anything from me that way. It's sad. It's sad. That's what this field did. And I'm not saying it's everybody, but that's the kind of people we have in this field. And the reason they're doing it, because they got screwed over. So I can't really blame them for wanting to record conversations. I won't trust you anymore. But be that as it may, I understand it. And sadly, that's the field we're in, where I know if I'm going to talk to a certain someone, I already know what I'm not going to say, and that is anything personal. And usually I don't, so it's not that hard. But, sometimes you can slip up and say a name or give a place. It happens. I've done it. I know it happens. We're only human. All right, I'm going to bring up the Greer interview. I just thought it was an interesting, life-changing for me. Yeah, it definitely, things changed starting last night for me. Yeah. All right, I'm going to go to the, 1 hour mark here of the Curt Jaimungal Show, Theories of Everything. Stephen Greer on UAPs, but this part that I'm starting this out on is probably, so far what I've seen and heard, is the most interesting to me. And let me go ahead and get that queued up. There it is. Hold on, I really have to go back further. I did get permission from Curt, and the link to this will be in the show description after the show ends. I'll try to squeeze it in there now, see if it'll let me. I meant to do it before on this, because I knew I was playing this clip, this video. I can't speak. All right, I'm just going to start it right here and let it roll into the next couple of minutes. Here we go.
A kilowatt out or 5 kilowatts out. Ultimately, I just was at a place out in the desert of Arizona where we witnessed, and this is going to be, we're going to show this on our podcast, our webinar.
By the way, I want to point something out. He has a finger in the ear tick when he's about to tell you something that may or may not be true. I haven't figured him out yet on this one. The finger in the ear is very common for Greer. All right, just pay attention. Sorry.
On October 25th, this device that had, I think it was 4 magnesium alloy plates. And
I'll hit a bell every time he does it.
And this particular device was more like an original Tesla, sort of a miniaturized version of Wardenclyffe, where this guy, after 40 years of trying to do this, something that's a little bit bigger than a shoebox, And the startup power is a 3-volt battery, which you could take out. And it's actually pulling the magnetic flux and what's called the negative energy that's around us. And it was, when we were there a few weeks ago, had been running for over 2 years.
This negative energy around us?
Well, he calls it negative energy. I think a lot of these terms are fungible because they're still being defined. I think what he calls negative energy is actually an aspect of the 0 point, the quantum flux field. Without getting too much further into those weeds, the strange thing about his device, it has to be tuned to the magnetic field and of
Here we go.
Exactly where it is, because it's actually feeding off the flow of energy from the sun to the earth and the magnetosphere. It's very interesting. It's very Tesla-like. But instead of it being this gigantic thing, it's like this big. I mean, so we're there and we test it. There are no wires going into it. It's putting out, we've got it around 5 kilowatts.
So what he's saying is that they have a device that they plug into the atmosphere, the electrosphere. What is it called? The electromagnetic sphere? The electromagnetosphere of the Earth. Is that what it is? Well, the electromagnetic field. Plug into that and you set it on a certain frequency. Whatever. You'll hear it now. He's going to get into detail. But it's the size of, what is it? Size of a coffee mug or something. It's really small. But here we go.
And no energy input. Now, interestingly, even when it was...
And when you hear the bell, this... your mother's got 19 leglets. Unbelievable, this stupid free shit. I hate free. I don't want to pay for this thing. When you hear that, it's finger in the ear. We're up to 2.
It was a little 3-volt battery, tiny little battery.
Finger in his ass.
So this is quite ingenious.
He laughed too.
You could certainly, it's probably not as robust. It can't be like put in a vehicle and move because it's tuned to this frequency of on the Earth. Anywhere you go on Earth, there's a magnetic field frequency. So his system is dependent on that being tuned. Others are not. So there are many ways to skin this cat, but this was a very fascinating. But again, he had made every conceivable strategic mistake to guarantee it will never benefit humanity. And so in a way, it was a case in looking at, of course, this guy is, quite up there in years now. He's also, a scientist, but he really thinks he's going to somehow beat the power grid companies by creating a megawatt plant and selling it to the utilities. I said, no, those companies are vertically and horizontally integrated into people who do not want this solution. And the laws around and regulations around tapping into the grid are so regulated by state, federal, and local bureaucracies that they'll kill this and strangle it in its cradle in 2 seconds. So what I find is that you find these ingenious devices attached to completely wacky strategies because they're not figuring in their strategy of how to get it out what their adversary is capable of. And here's your big mistake. You cannot underestimate your adversary. And your adversary is, got more power and wealth than the entire U.S. government and very exotic technologies.
Wait, what? Our adversaries have more wealth and power than the United States? Is that what he just said? Combined? Did he say combined? That's what I want to make sure I heard.
Estimate your adversary. And your adversary is, got more power and wealth than the entire U.S. government and very exotic technologies.
Do they? Do our adversaries have more wealth than the United States? And better technology, more in the future, I guess, that's correct, huh? Wow, I didn't know. Okay. Good to know. That was an accident.
To get in your way. I mean, when I say exotic,
good to know. Thanks, guys.
This sort of science and technology, what the CIA guys call WSFM, this
weird
whole area of science is weird science and freaking magic.
What's it called again? Repeat it once more.
WSFM. If you ever hear that term in the corridors of some contractor, it's a weird science and frickin' magic. At Northrop Grumman, they just call it PFM, pure fucking magic. Excuse my language.
Oh,
but they call it magic because you have all this phenomenon that happens. It's not magic. It's just like it's new science. But
let me interject, if you don't mind. I'd like to get into the weeds. I know that you want to get out of the weeds.
This is good.
Let's just delve into it for a tiny bit. So how does one produce the voltage that's required? The millions or tens of millions of volts? Like practically?
Well, some of them don't need that, but some of them do. Like this gentleman, he just had a startup. Once he tapped into the frequency and the magnetic field right there, he would have this small 3-volt battery to start the initial resonance in these plates. There's a group up in Canada that has a very similar system. So not all of them have to have that, but some of your classical systems, for example, T. Townsend Brown and his ability to create this lifter or anti-gravity effect or gravity control effect.
What's meant by they tap into the frequency? Like what? You're talking to a classically trained person. I have issues with the 0 point. So for instance, you need a difference. It doesn't matter if there's energy around you. And then if there is, then why doesn't it create a black hole? Because then you would need quantum field theory and general relativity. So there are many questions that arise. If you don't mind, just like what is meant by what is this frequency and what's meant by tapping into the frequency?
It's what I'm trying to say in lay terms. But I mean, I don't know how far to. If you have, let's say, you have a 2 million volt system, but very low current. So maybe it's only. Static electricity, by the way, is millions of volts. Like when it's cold and you zap.
I pressed it, it wouldn't go.
But incredibly low power because there's not much current. If you have a sustained voltage like that at certain frequencies, hertz, cycles per second, it will create, as some have described it, a vector, a perturbation of the ambient energy field and cause, as Maury King describes it, sort of this cavitating effect from the 0 point where it actually pulls out some little bit of it. Now, remember, it's been estimated that, at the level of 0 point energy, the volume of inside a coffee mug,
exactly
that much space,
Brookers
amount of space has enough potential power to boil off all the waters of the planet.
Minor quiddity here. Static electricity is on the order of 15,000 volts and not a million or tens of millions. I believe Dr. Greer simply misspoke, as we all do, and I'm correcting here in part so that you don't go trying to build a device.
But that's what Greer does. See, and I wanted to stop earlier, but I let it go because this is a very important thing I'm about to say. When Greer goes on certain shows, mostly all of them, they don't have the intellect in science or technology as a Curt Jaimungal has, because this is his wheelhouse. Greer's just echoing what he knows, right? He's not a scientist. He's a doctor or a surgeon, whatever. Well, I don't know why I did that, but he is. Not anymore. But so when Curt Jaimungal's interviewing him, he's putting Greer to the test like nobody else does. Like, you need to explain a little further. You're saying a lot of things that seem impossible. So Curt knows this, and boy, oh boy, was it good. And there's more on this coming up. But if you look at this, Greer has constantly said over the years, millions of volts in static electricity. I think he said that over the years, hasn't he? It sounded familiar to me. I don't know. I think I've heard it once before, to be honest, just once. And I didn't know. I didn't know if, and to me, it sounds like something that could be true. Static electricity, could have a million volts. But it says here, does static electricity have voltage? Under severe conditions, up to 15,000 volts have been recorded. It is quite common to experience 5,000 volts. In fact, many people do not feel a shock from static electricity discharge, less than about 2,000 to 4,000 volts. A million volts? That's okay. He misspoke. That's all.
wondering why the heck is it not working, or ruining your family dinners with physics tidbits like I do.
By the way, Revere, Pony Express, I already did. I usually do one a year on those. You can just type it in the search on GoofOn and you'll find that episode. It's in there about 6 months to a year. I do those every year. I just did one a few months ago, but it was embedded in the show. I'm sorry, you're not seeing me. It was embedded in a show where I talked about how I was followed and all that stuff and how people been killed over the years. Greer is earlier. We're going to go back into this and we're going to go to the part where he talks about people getting murdered and how he survived and why isn't he dead? You know, Kurt asks him, well, why aren't you dead? I think it was Kurt who asked him. And he does have the co-host there with him, Daniel Zetterstrom. Am I saying that right? Seems like a nice guy.
So it's this is why Tesla kind of referred to it, although he didn't understand that's what it was, this sort of infinite energy field. But to actually access it, you have to do these various physics and electromagnetic engineering techniques, and it's different for different substances. If it's just electric steel, which is what Dr. Holcomb is doing with his Holcomb energy system, that's different from what this gentleman in the desert was doing with the magnetic field of the earth, which was different from what Stan Meyer was doing with water. But the principles, this is why one of the things I've been advocating is some venture capitalist who actually, there's billions of dollars being spent on pseudo solutions that someone puts together. And this is also going to be one of the appeals we're going to make, an open source physics research and development lab funded to $50 to $100 million to start with, so that you can put the best people in place, study these devices that have come and gone, and optimize it into a solid state system that's stable, that could begin to be moved out to the public. I think that if you had such a facility and support and it was done open source, you probably would have at least your first system developed within 1 to 2 years. And at that point, it would have to be massively disclosed.
Is there any way of working with the Galileo project on something like this?
Oh,
I don't think that they're focusing on this. They're looking for things way out there, and there are folks associated with that project that are embedded counterintelligence people.
AKA Lou Elizondo.
Would you be willing to have Galileo's equipment present during a CE5 expedition?
I haven't drilled down on what their equipment is. I think they're still very linear. And
they're looking at things like the electromagnetic space above the sensors they're watching.
When Greer puts his finger in his ear, he's unsure. That's what it is. He's unsure about what he's saying, but he's saying it anyway. That's what I've seen from the body language, finger in the ear. And you can say, oh, he's just pushing his earbud in. No. He's going above the earbud. And why doesn't he do the other ear? Is this ear a little more wide open than this ear, the hole? No. I don't see that earbud falling out. He's got a tick and he keeps ticking every time he's unsure. And if you listen to what he's talking about after that finger goes in his ear, it seems like something he would be unsure about. Unprovable, right? This is magic that just happened here. Thank you, Kurt.
For things in the sky, they have various
Thank
cameras
you, Greer.
that triangulate anything that it sees.
Maybe I'm wrong.
And they're really not, differentiating between whether they see a bird or something anomalous. They want to gather all the data they can.
Avi's a friend, so I can set something up. Like I'm just curious what the answer would be.
Well, it's certainly possible. I think some of that equipment could be very useful during a CE5 event. Remember, most of what happens is transdimensional. It's coming back and forth from one dimension to another.
That's right.
Transits dimensions. Anything that's truly interstellar is not going through a straight line of an electromagnetic field. But part of it is that the whole understanding of the phenomenon is flawed, because they're trying to interpret some technology that's 10 to the 6th to 10 to the 9th years further along than ours are, using nominally
See, that is a huge thing he just said. 10 to the 6th or the 9th power of what? How does he know? You can just say anything. Right? How does he know it's that many times more advanced in years or whatever than ours? What if it's only 3 times more? And that's all it takes to get to that level. Greer. You see, when you piece everything together, there's a lot of bullshittery. Anyway.
More sophisticated.
I digest.
Understanding of physics than what existed during the time of Einstein and relativity and quantum physics. And that's not going to cut it because now we get into what the ultimate singularity is, which is the consciousness field and the plasticity of space and time and how all this sort of phenomenon happens. But so the question is, you have to design your equipment understanding a broader spectrum. Now, one of the good things about modern cameras with light cells, the CCDs or whatever they are, those actually perceive and pick up data much better than the human eye by far. And so that's one of the things we've been developing is, how do you use those in a setting where an event might be happening and there's some prodromal, some indication there's something around you, and you can then image it with these sort of cameras at what setting, what's optimal, what's the exposure, all that. So, if they have information on that, we'd certainly be happy to share with them what our experience has been. Although, in full disclosure, I don't operate cameras at all. I run the other way and give me a defibrillator, but.
So then I guess he shouldn't be talking about how to record things that are paranormal. Just say, I don't know. Just say, I don't know. He never does. Yeah. Oh, this is great. Oh, I wish I would have thought about this earlier. Greer has an answer for everything. I have yet to hear him say, I don't know. I don't think I've ever heard him say that. I've heard him say, I don't know when somebody asked him about drama going on with Lou Elizondo because he doesn't follow that stuff. He says, to be honest, I don't know. I don't follow that stuff. That's different than talking about futuristic technology from aliens that's being back engineered by scientists right here on Earth. All right, I'm going to go to the front of the show, the beginning. We're going to go back in the New York groove. Because the beginning of the show was rather interesting. Look at him. He's ready to go already. Now, when I interviewed Greer, it was a totally different environment. It was face-to-face. It was outside. There was a crowd of people all around us. You guys saw that a couple of years ago in November. And he is 6'4", about 250 pounds. He could be intimidating. And he has that aura, that presence. It's almost like cultish. It's weird. People would follow his scurry all around everywhere he went. You'd see I could see a Family Guy episode where they make Greer everywhere he goes, shopping, to the movies, do his laundry, whatever. There's always a crowd of people following him everywhere he goes. And that's what it was like. This environment can be just as intimidating because you don't want to lose the interview. And you don't want to piss him off and have that shitty relationship because you may want to have him on again. But Greer can be very intimidating. And he knows it. And he uses it. Sometimes he doesn't even have to speak to get the point across. That's the kind of aura he has that he gives off. And the people who know him and work around him, they say he's the greatest guy ever. So... seems like a nice guy. He was nice to me. He's a nice guy. He's in public. Nobody wants to, be put to the test in front of hundreds, thousands of people. Nobody wants to be burnt. And he doesn't know Kurt. He doesn't know. And it seemed like he was trying to, how do you say it? He was, well, I don't know. You take a listen.
I don't know. Somehow it went over to something called safe driving mode.
This was before the show started. They were trying to get things
must mean
going.
that it gets rid of the video.
Don't worry, go through your accolades and so on. Welcome, Greer. Sorry, it's Dr. Greer, and there are thousands of people watching right now.
It's Greer.
Hey.
What's
Hello,
up,
everyone.
Greer?
Nice to meet you. I'm here in Washington.
Okay, so we'll start off slow, and then we'll get into the meat of it. And just so you know, may take this out, but just so you know, if I feel as if the question is going on, the answer is going on for a bit too long, I mean no disrespect, I may just interject and say, okay, so going back to the original question and so on, because you have so much knowledge and experience, and you're voluble and valuable at the same time. So does that sound fair? Is that all right?
Sure. No, that's fine.
Okay, great.
Nice.
Okay, so this question comes from Santiago, who wants to know what's your workout routine and what type of music do you listen to?
I like alternative rock, mostly alternative. And my workout routine is about 8 hours a week. I do a lot of mountain biking and hiking. In the gym, I focus on non-cardio weights. So, I have a day that I do chest, and a day I do back, a day I do legs, a day I do arms.
Each day?
And then, no. I focus on one muscle group a day.
Well, what I mean is you take a day off. Like, do you have a rest day, or each day you do something?
Yeah, usually 1 or 2 days a week. I take a break. And then the key thing is, nutrition. Luckily, my wife's a good cook, and I like to eat.
Yeah. When it comes to alternative...
So far, we haven't had a finger in the ear yet, have we? Shannon Wilcox with the $5 super sticker. I believe that's the first one tonight. That's right. I forgot to say, you can help support the show. We are supported by you, the viewer. And you can do Super Chat, Super Sticker, PayPal, Cash App. You could even become a member of GoofOn or patron or buy a coffee. And Shannon Wilcox gave you're number one with a woman with pink hair thinking lovely thoughts with her hands on her jaw, just listening in intently. Thank you very much, Shannon. That's what it looks like. Thank you. And because, is it the first one or the second one? I don't remember another one. Thank you, Shannon Wilcox, for the $5 super sticker. Woman head on hands thinking lovely thoughts at good. Oliver Greer. Oh. No. I take that back. It would be like a seal out of the water. Thank you, Shannon. You're a continuing supporter of GoofOn. Mucho gusto, generoso.
To harp on that, what bands?
Well, there's a new band I like a lot called Spacey Jane.
And so far, no finger in the ear yet. Isn't that interesting? When he's talking about normal stuff that's real, that he can't fabricate, or he could, but he's not. It's just amazing where that finger goes when he's talking about the things he can't prove. Or Kenny? Kenny? Who's Kenny? Kenny Isaac?
AWOL Nation, Cage the Elephants, some of the older ones, Foo Fighters, which of course named their band after UFOs.
Yeah, see this guitar, that's all I play is alternative rock, but from the 90s, like Nirvana and Our Lady Peace.
Oh yeah, I love those too. Yep, those are great. So that's what I listen to. I just stream it off of one of the
They have a bond, everybody. They have a bond.
I don't actually curate my own list, but I
we have liftoff
for our premieres and events. He curates them for us.
They found common ground.
Andy McGrillen, who says that this podcast right now, what we're doing, it's been anticipated by thousands of people, and you rarely do podcasts. So why is it that you're appearing on this one? And you feel free to compliment Theories of Everything as much as you like.
That was an accident.
Well, I don't know. My people said that it had a lot of viewers, and we're trying to get some critical information out about what we're working on coming up in the next 8 or 9 months, and that you guys could probably help get the word out and inform some of the public that perhaps I'm not normally reaching. So we thought it'd be a good idea to communicate with you guys.
All right. What is it that you're working on in the next few months?
Don't worry about it.
Well, on October 25th, of course, we're doing a big event in Santa Monica, and it's
what?
a webinar you can join. But it's the backbone of a new documentary feature film.
Santa Monica. We were there last week.
It'll be more significant than unacknowledged.
Last year.
It has had 760 million people see it. This next one is going to be called The Lost Century. So we're crowdfunding it also. In other words, all our activities are the people funding it. We don't have a corporate or that type of sponsor, because we want to be able to tell the truth and the whole truth and not have it censored by somebody who controls the content. So the lostcenturyfilm.com is the site if you want to help us with that, or you can join us on October.
So the CE5 thing, of course, it's Greer's, it's his thing right now. And he's still, I guess, working behind the scenes, trying to get evidence to be pulled forward and disclosure and all that stuff. Can you imagine being Greer right now, especially the last 5 years, with the, I don't know if it's an opposition, but it might be. His opposition is Elizondo, when you think about it. Now, relationship-wise, maybe, but when it comes to UFOs and disclosure in general, I wonder if those guys will put, or have put, and I haven't heard that they even spoke, put their differences aside and compare notes. Now, if Greer is who he says he is, he and Elizondo should be working together, no? And why aren't they? That's the question, Johnny. Why wouldn't these two powerhouses, I hate to call Elizondo that, but he's had more airtime than anybody in the last 5 years. Excuse me. Why wouldn't they work together? Because they can't put their differences aside? I don't know. It is strange though, right? If they really have the same goal, which I don't think they do, Elizondo wants to hide the stuff for the government, and Greer wants to bring this stuff forward. So I just answered my own question, I guess. Well, Lou said early on in his 5-year career here that he is not about disclosure and never has been. He is about finding out what all of our adversaries and all of our friends have when it comes to technology. And I'll tell you why. Because they probably really are seeing stuff they can't explain, showing up with impunity in unsecured airspace. And they can't do anything about it. But apparently neither can the other countries, neither can our adversaries. So with that being said, the only other options are it's a black budget project, could be either side of the coin, or it's actual earthly to unearthly, off-world, on-world vehicles, or something we just can't explain that look like they're made from metal that can disappear in a blink of an eye. Supposedly they cloak themselves. That to me does not sound like any technology a human has created. And if that was created by humans, and it's been here for thousands of years, don't forget, they were drawing these long ago, before we even existed. There's a phenomenon out there. But Lou Elizondo wants to hide it and keep it and find it and use it as a weapon, while Greer wants to find it, give it out to the public as free energy. Which side do you choose? They're both liars and they're both telling the truth. Now, I don't know about the latter or the four, whatever I said. Whether they're lying or not, how do we know? We got to do the research. And that's where it ends. Because who wants to go down that rabbit hole just to find out what you already know? That Greer doesn't know everything he's saying, and some of the stuff he's saying, I think he's hoping is going to happen. right? I think he's imagining that this will happen someday in the future. He does name drop. So if he's lying, he could be in a lot of trouble. That's another thing. Elizondo doesn't name drop. Elizondo doesn't tell you anything. He hides behind an NDA. Greer hides behind his own shadow if he's going to be hiding anything. And neither one of them are 100% honest. We know that from their past. But who is the most honest and who's doing the positive for disclosure? And that's what we want. And I would have to say Greer slightly edges past Elizondo. As much as I am not an Elizondo fan, I am only that much more a fan of Greer than Elizondo. And it's not much because I just don't know. You don't know. Nobody knows. We're listening to this guy speak and we're hoping he's telling us the truth. And we have to sit here with little to no evidence and everything that we've seen over the last several years, decades, however long you've been in this field, and go by what we've learned. And everybody does it differently. So we're going to have a lot of different opinions. Be nice in that chat room and let's just hear what people have to say and judge accordingly. Your opinion is as valuable as anybody else's. So let's not get angry. Let's just listen and move forward. Hey, Hellfire Studios with a $5 super dono. Hellfire Studios, a continuing supporter of GoofOn and a good friend of the show. Thank you, Hellfire Studios, with a $5 support and also a member. That's a super dono. A dono means there's no emoji and no comment. It's a donation with nothing. It's a dono. Dono. But it's a lot. It's love. Thank you very much, Hellfire Studios. Appreciate it. All right. Back to work.
It was from the Lockheed Skunk Works. In other words, it was not, quote unquote, an even on board or extraterrestrial. So I think this gets into the whole discussion of where have our tax dollars gone? What do we have in classified projects? What part of that can be disclosed so that we could move off of oil and gas and coal and really create a new civilization based on technologies that Nikola Tesla, the real Tesla, and others began to discover back in the late 1800s and early 1900s.
There you
so we
go.
have 100 years where we've lost social and I think spiritual evolution with it. And we've trapped the planet environmentally on a downward spiral to nearly an extinction level event that's coming out quickly. And the other problem is that half the world's population is in unbelievable poverty. And, in the West, we're so narcissistic. We think, oh, well, we have hundreds of years of oil and gas here in, North America or wherever, or the Middle East, which is probably true. But the biosphere can't withstand hundreds of years more. And that doesn't count. About half the world's population doesn't have electricity or a way of life like we do. I mean, 3 billion people don't have any way to cook their meals. They're scrounging and tearing down old growth rainforests or desert plants to cook and make charcoal.
Is that true? 3 billion people living that way? Do you guys remember the comic? Some of you will. Sam Kinison. He had a funny thing he said. He said he hates those, where you got to donate $1 a day and pay for their food and all this. And he goes, I'd like to just go out there one day and talk to one of them and say, hey, come here for a second. You see this here? And he bends down and he shows them. See, this is sand. It was sand. And it's going to be sand in 1,000 years. Move where the food is. So why don't they move where the food is? It's sand. And in 1,000 years, it's going to be more fucking sand. Move where the food is. That's a very good answer. We can't move. We can't afford to move our hut. We'll build you a hut. Move where the food is. See, that's the thing, though. They don't want them to move where the food is. Because then that means it takes away from us, see? Yeah, It's a catch-22, folks. It's survival of the fittest is what this is. And I believe things are going to change in the next 30 to 50 years. Like, I'm glad I'm going to be gone.
That's 3 billion. The Economist just came out with that number a few months ago. So if we're really going to live as a planet that can be at all just, which means it can be peaceful, and get to what some people call a level 1 civilization, we're going to have to really quickly bring these sciences and technologies out. So that's the next big thrust. Of course, it's at the...
Do you think, here's what I've been thinking about the last year or so, because we've had 5, isn't it? 5 Earth events. What are they called? When everything gets destroyed at one time, it's a big event. Extinction event. It's been 5. And it's weird. Because you wonder where the Egyptians went and if the Atlanteans were real. My God. That happened over 10,000 years ago. And they think that's what created the Ice Age and all that shit, and then more asteroids kept raining down, and right, isn't that what happened? And then made it melt and everything, created the big floods and all that stuff, right? Mississippi River, Great Lakes. Meanwhile, Atlantis could be sunken underground somewhere. I don't know where it is, but if it's where Plato said it was, it would be where Bimini Road would start, which is just off Florida, right? By Cuba? I don't know if that's a real thing, but Bimini Road is possibly something that belonged to Atlantis. Now, I wonder, with all the technology they had, I'm just saying, if they had, do you think that stuff would still be running, like maybe in sleep mode? I heard somebody say that in an interview. And I thought that was brilliant because I kind of thought of it that way. I never thought of it as calling it sleep mode, like we put our computers in when we don't want to use them and don't want to lose the data, right? We keep things, just enough energy to keep things fresh and save them. But it makes me wonder. Now, the Bermuda Triangle is a myth. I'm not going to talk about it in this show, but it is. Just as many planes and boats go missing in any other region that size. It's not a strange place, believe it or not. Strange stuff happens, but it happens everywhere. It happens on the other side of the earth. If you go straight from the Bermuda Triangle, you will hit the Dragon Triangle, which is in China. Not in China, but in there. Is it the China Sea? Is it? I don't know. All right. Greer. You see, you can tell when I'm starting to get burnt out. Let me see. Let's see. What else do we want to talk about? I can't read these. My screen. Here, let me see if I can read it here. Oh, there it is. Danger with the phenomenon and Curt's views on NDAs. Yeah, this is what I wanted you guys to hear.
To have to sign an NDA or be in possession of anything that I can't talk about. And what they tell me is, Curt, as soon as I go forward with this, people have died from this. The government has silenced people, and I'm worried for my health, my safety, or I've been contacted by the government officials who are trying to silence me. So in other words, those are some fears that people have. Now I'm curious, do you have those fears, and how warranted are they?
They're very warranted, and we can prove that this has happened. I mean, I've been personally involved in teams that have had the result of a wet works group kill its principal people. Wet works is CIA term for wet from blood being killed. And, I've had myself on the watch group list more than once, which is the kill list. But I think that
But how do you know that? Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. Thoughts occurred to me. So how was it disclosed to you that?
Well, you remember, starting in '93, I've briefed people like the director of the CIA, and I have a network of people in clandestine services and elsewhere who are friendly to what we're doing. They don't want to stick their necks out too far.
Telling the truth.
End up like Bill Colby, the CIA director who was helping us.
He didn't put his finger in his ear.
Bring one of these technologies out, and they found him floating down here south of DC in the river. He was wet work. His best friend was a colonel who was on our team, and confirmed that was a kill, but made to look like an accident. So these guys are not without foundation. What they're a huge mistake, and this is a big part of this film, and you're going to hear about this if you join our podcast on October.
Finger in the ear. Right before he's about to tell us something. Let's hear it.
25th. There is a strategy to avoid that, but everyone keeps making the same mistakes. And as Einstein said, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. So what we've done is analyzed 120 years or so of these sort of technologies, how they've come and then how they vanished. What are the mistakes that are consistently made? And you named it. You hit the nail on the head. They're trying to keep it secret. Now, what I tell people is that if you have something like that, contact me yesterday, immediately. And you have to be prepared to open source it. Now, what does open source mean? It's like GitHub, the software company. It means that you release all of it without any holdback to the public, but massively. So what I would do is have a massive press conference around it, but it would have been released, the entire plans, how it operates, nothing held back. Forget patenting this stuff. It's going to get seized to a national security order, NSO. And so what you have to do is say, okay, the whole system is set up to intercept these. One of the biggest ones are financial and legal traps that are out there because people will take in, quote, investors. The other is that you'll be offered a lot of money.
All right, so check this out. Did you hear what he said? So if you wanted to, if you had some evidence that you thought would get you hurt, how would you get it out to the public without being hurt? How would you do that safely for you and your family? And Greer said you have to put it out there in mass quantities. Like you have a press conference, right? He says you do that and you get it out to the world as fast as you can. You know what popped in my head? Anjali, or Angeli, whatever. She did that. She was on Twitter and going on shows before she did her faux appearance. She had a fake, press conference out in front of the Capitol. Jesus, what the hell? And you guys remember that. That's what she was doing. She was putting herself out there. She was following the protocol. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? She was following the protocol that Stephen Greer just said, that's what you do. It makes you wonder, because she used to work for the government, right? She was counterintelligence too. She pulled the same bullshit because she thought what she was saying was real. She thought she was going to give us alien. Like, you don't come out 6 months ahead of time and tell everybody you're going to a mountain that has a tunnel where aliens are, and you're going to document. You don't do that publicly. What you do is you keep it secret. Then you go out to the thing, get the evidence, then you have your press conference. She did it in reverse because it wasn't true. People who have real evidence, anything that real would be scared to come forward. Absolutely scared. No doubt. I would be, for sure.
Black shelved. I mean, if it's enough information and knowledge, they'll try to buy it off and put it on a shelf where nobody sees it.
That's what they did with the guy who made the car, the water car. Well, he disappeared. Well, he didn't disappear. He was having breakfast, I think, with his brother or lunch or something. And all of a sudden he started grasping at his chest and saying, "They got me. They got me. They poisoned me," he said. Then he keeled over. And that was the guy who invented the car that can run on water in the 80s. I remember that guy on the news. I remember seeing that when it happened. Not his death, but, pretty interesting. All right, Greer, we're almost done. I'm not going to play the whole thing, just another couple minutes, and then we're going to move on.
We know specific cases where that's happened. Well, that person is rich, the
What?
inventor and his team, but, the world's dying, right?
Right.
So, no, there's another way to do this, but it's very against what most venture capital and financial and legal and business people would say. And that is, you take all the details of that invention and you release it open source and without any holdbacks, no patent and no
for the good of
protections.
humanity.
Yes, but it would also be for the good of the person. I'll get to this in a minute. This is very counterintuitive. And this is where you can have $100 million in an operational device, but if you don't strategically understand what you're up against $800 trillion, $900 trillion cartels of energy, utilities, oil, gas, coal, all of this, the petrodollar system. You're not going to take that on, even if someone gives you $1 billion, if you don't have the right strategy. So what I explain to people is that what I discovered from working with a number of these groups, beginning with Bruce De Palma in 1991, and subsequently the Tuari device and many others, and the Stan Meyer family that had a car running on water. Those were real systems, but they all made the same mistake. They kept the technology secret in a small group of people. So I recommend you have to do something called detargeting. How do you detarget yourself? Well, you do what I've done. You get it out there, you put it out there. And that's what I do with the Disclosure Project. You don't sit on this sort of thing because if nobody knows, you're the tree that fell in the woods that nobody ever heard, right? So if you don't want to be the tree that falls in the woods, which means another dead body or a confiscated technology, you push it out. Now, here's one of the problems. If you're in a lab at Lawrence Berkeley Labs, like a man I know who discovered one of these, a physicist, and nobody knows who you are, you don't have the means to get 1 billion, 2 billion people aware of it. What my group has developed are groups of influencers and celebrities and others that we would be able to get that out to people and, at least 1 billion to 2 billion people in a couple of weeks, in a fortnight. So what that means is that you squeeze the toothpaste out of the tube so fast and so hard, these fascists can't put it back in. I call them the petro-fascists.
Sure. How do you get it out to, let's say, 1 billion people? How do you do that? What is that, like a newsletter or a video bot? Like this is popular. This is a few thousand, but.
Mm-hmm. No, for example, there are people who are very.
That is so true. If this is all true, why doesn't Greer just go to Biden? Biden doesn't care about oil. This is the perfect time for them. Holy crap, you're right. This is the administration you go to. Because if they lose in 2024, whoever it is, Republicans are not going to go forward with anything here. They're opening up the oil. Oh my God, you're right. Oh my God, yeah. That's right. That's what they should be doing, pushing to talk to Biden. But who is Biden anyway right now, right? Biden's 5 other people. So you probably got to go through the handler, the wife, the handler to the handler, and all that other stuff. The assistant to the assistant's assistant. But that's true. That should be the aim. Aim high, especially now. I'm going to go to the 2.5 hour mark. Because Curt told me around that time, it explained something about the show and the way it was, How did he put it? Let me see. Hold on. He said he conducted the interview in a certain manner. There's a post and pre-show around the 2.5 hour mark where he explains his thought process. All right, let's take a look, see if I'm there. I think I'm there, right around there anyway.
By the time solution.
So that will be in the description. So
director Wolsey, and he later turned around and said, actually, it wasn't a briefing, it was a dinner party, yada, yada, yada. I wanted to ask you, like a number of people have said, I wasn't really briefed. I wanted to ask you, do you know any reason for that discrepancy?
Because the subject, they don't want to admit that they had an interest in the subject because the subject has such high social opprobrium, social ridicule. And the other part of it is that they don't want to admit that after they were read in, they were pulled in and then betrayed the country. All right. I'll just be real blunt. So yeah, it is, and it's the truth. Luckily, I have the correspondence and the FedEx that set up the meeting and what the purpose of the meeting was. And I always tell people, look, in Washington, how do you know they're lying? Their lips are moving. So I looked, I did. All right. Okay. You guys have a good one.
Take care.
Here we go.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Okay. All right. Dan, how's that?
That was great. It took a while to find the rhythm, I think, but I think we got a lot answered and we got a lot of information from Dr. Greer there.
True.
Yep. Justice Bieber was my favorite part. I want to make a hashtag about that.
I know.
Bieber.
I'm grateful that Dr. Stephen Greer spent so much time with us. So I'll take this offline. I'm going to place it back online in about 24 hours or so. And it will be edited with better audio and a sponsor message. Like I mentioned, there'll be a sponsor message at 20 minutes and then 40 minutes. They pay the bills. If you don't like that, then you have the option of like skipping forward. There's a timestamp. All of them are timestamped. And you can also go to theoriesofelverything.org and be a TOE member. You get an ad-free version. So and you support the podcast. Like thank you. Either way, even just this viewing, just you viewing is supporting. Thank you. Dan is from That UFO Podcast. That will also be in the description. That if you like.
I just dropped a poll in the chat room. Who do you trust more? Greer or Elizondo? I did not put a third and put neither because I'm forcing you to choose one. So choose wisely. Yeah.
The TOE content, you'll love That UFO content.
Yeah, I think people will find a nice crossover between our channels. And
curious, how did you like the podcast?
Watching the chat throughout, a conversation was going on. There was a lot of support for Stephen's app as well, the CE5 app. When
that's cool.
About that, a number of people in the chat use it and vouched for it.
Some people are saying that we ambushed him, and then some people are saying you didn't ask any hard questions. It's tricky.
Yeah, we're always going to get that, right? Like,
yeah,
you went too far. You didn't go far enough. When the truth is somewhere in the middle.
Yeah,
True. Good art makes people react.
But for anyone, no. I'm not thinking in terms of let me expose someone. I'm thinking in terms of if this is. I would like to understand what this person is saying. And so when there are questions, if it seems like an ambush, for instance, he didn't like my hand waving, which is just my gesticulation. I'm sorry, I can't help that. But when I have questions in a scrupulous manner about some fastidious physics concept, I don't know what to do other than ask. And I do that to everyone: John Vervaeke, Ian McGilchrist, Avi Loeb.
Yeah, exactly. And it just gives the person space to elaborate, right?
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the part where you and Dr. Greer were talking about the in-depth physics of things, because it's not often that someone like Dr. Greer will come up against someone who has the actual knowledge.
That's exactly what I said. It's exactly what I said. He will rarely come up against someone with the intellect of Curt Jaimungal and those around him. It was a good show. And I was going to play more, but I think that's enough. I want you to go watch it on his channel. Give him the love. And don't forget to thumb up that video if you liked it. Same here. Like, share, subscribe, goof on if you like and think that we're here as Truthology for ufology. Thumb it up, baby. I think I just saw a super... It is! Why is it green? It's green on my screen. It should be yellow. And it is yellow on your end. You see that? It's green. It should be yellow. Thank you, Lisa. B-O-W. And I almost said B-O-U. See, there's something with the last name. It's Bowden. Yeah, Lisa Bowden. Thank you for the $10 super sticker. And I believe it is a heart pounding very heavily out of the Lemonhead girl. Aw, thank you very much. You're excited about the show. I was too. Thank you very much, Lisa. I'm laughing because your last name, it's not just you. There's certain names that I just, for some reason, it does that to me. Thank you very much. You're a continuing supporter of Goof On, and I appreciate the love. Lisa. That was an interesting interview, though, by the way. Hey, what's up, Wayne? Oh, that's right. Tomorrow. Isn't it tomorrow? What's tomorrow? Is it tomorrow? Am I coming on there tomorrow? Or is it the week after? I can't remember. Tomorrow? Email me. Because I just told my mother I'm going over her house for dinner. Of course I can. Just remind me, what time again, Eastern? So I could tell my mother if I'm coming or not. Yeah, what time? All right, Royal Oak, Michigan. What's up, B. Morg? Welcome to Goof On. Good to see ya. We just had a little lull in the show, 5 p.m. Perfect. We just had a lull, L-U-L-L. We just got done watching, for the most part, Theories of Everything with Curt Jaimungal and Dr. Greer interview. Yeah. Which, whether you like Greer or not, a lot of the stuff he says, it's impossible for us to know. And that's the funny thing about it, That's the thing. Here, Joe Merja had a question that was asked in that podcast. But early in the show, Greer mentioned an extinction level event being planned. But he needs to clarify that. Well, he's been saying it for 3 years, 4 years, easily. Who is planning it? Why? I want to know these things. You just can't come out and say they are planning an extinction level event. Now, once you say that, you have knowledge where you heard that. So where did he hear it from? I heard it from an insider. Who? I can't tell you the name of the insider. Why? Because nobody's supposed to know. You just told us. So he's dead now, right? He's dead. We don't need a name. There's probably only 3 to 5 people who know about this, right? I don't know that. It could be 20. It could be 2. I don't know. It's got to be at least 1. So what do? If I was that organization and heard Greer say that, I would question every one of my folks who work around me that were planning that extinction level event. And I would have you followed, your calls monitored to see if you speak with Greer or meet with Greer. Man, that's what I'm saying. When you say something like that, you got to back it up. I could say right now something very similar, but I'm not going to say it. Because it's probably not true. But you can say there's going to be an extinction level event being planned, and it happens 20 years from now, and Greer's going to be, see, I told you. Right? It's going to happen anyway, sadly. It just feels like it. There's been 5 others. Earth is not 100% safe. Yeah, we can move an asteroid. That was interesting to see that we did that. Did we? I don't know. Do you know? I didn't do the math. I don't work for NASA. How do we know they told us the truth? What if it didn't move it an inch? And it's coming our way. Would they tell us? No. No, you can't. Because there'd be chaos. Yeah. There would be extreme chaos all around the world. But I do like the way Curt challenged him on some of the, how you going to do this? And, with the other stuff, the stuff that I don't know about, that I would never know to ask. I would just be one of those people that would be like, how? Curt can at least explain the how, and Greer would have to understand the how to explain it, to say what he's saying. Did that make sense at all? I have no idea, but it sure sounded good. So that's it for the Curt Jaimungal Theories of Everything with Dr. Greer. I'll put the link in the description. Soon as the show ends, it won't let me do it now. I tried. So thanks for that. Yeah, I'm very excited to hear if Greer has anything to say about the interview. I don't think he talks like that, right? He doesn't talk about anything personal, how he felt. Yeah. I guess I'm just being hopeful. Well, good stuff. And we always have questions that in every podcast, nobody asks the hard questions. Everybody says that no matter how hard the questions are, and that was true. That is true when it comes to Greer. People don't know what questions to ask. And I think Curt knows a few people in the field that could give him some direction on those questions to ask. Because I'm not sure, how much Curt follows Dr. Greer or knows about him that way. I'm sure he knows about him. Everybody knows Greer, but I'm just saying in depth, And I saw some of those questions. They looked a little bit familiar to me. Like I've had conversations with people who say, anytime Greer's on, why don't they ask him this? And why don't they ask him that? And I saw one of those questions being asked. So that was good. Yeah. And I think if I pull it up, I think it was, I want to say it was right around the 38-minute. No, sorry. 1 hour, 38-minute. Let me see if I'm right. Hold on. I want to see. No. It's around here, but I'm not going to keep looking for it. Hold on. Oh, wait, I think I found it. Here we go. Oh, shit. Here we go. Let me get it back up. Oh, wait, that's not it either. All right. Anyway, it was good to hear. Jennifer Siami, thank you very much for the, are you kidding? Europe is at risk of an extinction level. I know, but I don't want to get into details. on this show about anything happening in the world because you got to be careful what you say. And that is something we're all at risk right now. Of course, any time of year, we're at risk. Anybody can wake up and press the button. I know it's not that simple, but in other parts of the world, it is, right? It's true, Jennifer. I hear you. It's a very scary time. Oh, hey, hold on a second. Jennifer, I do want to thank you. You're a continuing supporter of Goof On. That is a very good comment. And I am on board with you. No, I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. Thanks, Jennifer. I appreciate it. I know your heart's in the right place and I don't take anything offensively. So you can be as vocal as you need to be, my friend. Appreciate that. And I see Kurt's here. What's up, Curt Jaimungal? Theories of everything. Let's see what, additionally, the quality of grit, which is lauded in the business world, is that very quality of attempting multiple times over what failed. KFC founder. Okay. Good point. And he says, rant over. Thank you for visiting the show. I don't know how long you were here. It's very hard to watch the chat room at the same time. I'm trying to do the show. I apologize if I missed anybody else. Let's see what you said earlier. Although that's not a definition of insanity, else we wouldn't use the DSMV to diagnose. It would just be a therapist asking that one question. Isn't that an old proverb, though? Isn't that what it is? It's a proverb, right? I thought that was the definition of insanity. When you keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result, but you keep getting the same one, something like that. That's not a proverb? Well, thanks for hanging out for a minute, Kurt. I appreciate that. And thank you for allowing me to use the video as well. Much appreciated. You did get back to me right away, which was very helpful because I would have been just relaying what I'm hearing. So thank you for all that help as well. Very nice. Thank you. Very nice of you. Take care. Take care. That was cool. Curt Jaimungal popping in for a hello, allowing us to use the video. Doesn't get any better than that. So I appreciate that. Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of nice. You guys know the story. All right. Well, we've got some show left, people. All right. We've got some show left. So we're not done. I have a video here, and I don't know if I've ever played it, but it's a celebrity. Did you know Miley Cyrus had a UFO encounter? You know, now that I'm talking about it, I think I did play this when it initially aired a couple of years ago. This is almost 2 years ago to the day. It's rather good, which is why I'm sharing it. You know, I'm always up for a good story, but check this out.
Miley Cyrus is recalling an out-of-this-world experience. The music superstar revealed to pal Rick Owens for the latest issue of Interview magazine that she once had a close encounter with a UFO, and she's got a witness to back her up.
It's pretty wild.
Miley recalled once driving through San Bernardino in Southern California with a friend when they were chased down the road by what she described as a flying snowplow that was glowing yellow. And yes, according to Miley, her friend saw it too. The Midnight Sky singer explained that she wasn't exactly afraid, even when spotting a stranger in the mysterious aircraft. But she added that the whole thing was so surreal she just wasn't quite sure what to make of it, saying, quote, "I didn't feel threatened at all, actually, but I did see a being sitting in the front of the flying object. It looked at me and we made eye contact, and I think that's what really shook me, looking into the eyes of something that I couldn't quite wrap my head around." Miley did issue a disclaimer, admitting that she'd bought weed wax from a guy in a taco shop prior to the sighting, so that could have had something to do with it. But she added that other cars stopped to look too, so she thinks what she saw was real. What's not up for debate is the lasting impact it had on her. Miley shared that she...
I have to pause it for a second. So where are we with this questionable sighting? She says what she saw looked like a snowplow, and that she made eye contact with the person flying it. Did she see a snowplow? But was she in LA? I thought she was in LA when that happened. I want to go back to the beginning. Let's do it now. I want to see something. Because I want to know where it happened. I don't recall remembering.
An out-of-this-world experience. The music superstar revealed to pal Rick Owens for the latest issue of Interview magazine that she once had a close encounter with a UFO, and she's got a witness to back her up.
But where?
Miley recalled once driving through San Bernardino in Southern California.
San Bernardino. So there wouldn't be a snowplow flying through the air in San Bernardino. Back to where we left off. I had to make sure on that.
They shared that she spent the aftermath wondering if she would be visited again, saying, quote, "I was shaken for like 5 days. It effed me up. I couldn't really look at the sky the same. I thought they might come back." Miley may not be able to verify exactly what happened, but she's not here for skeptics either. The 27-year-old said she thinks it's a form of narcissism to believe that humans are alone in the universe. And as far as she's concerned, she's got all the proof she needs that we aren't. Now that's a story to phone home about.
So, very interesting story, no matter who it is, right? I know Dorothy, she was here earlier. She said in one of her experiences that a UFO came right beside their car, and I think she made eye contact with somebody, or she saw something flying it, but it didn't look like this. But there's a lot of people out there. Hey, what's up, aliens ate my back? Yep. Hey. Mighty midget of muscle man. Me? I'm not a midget. I'm 5'9". Yeah. Well, Greer, for you, I feel the same, buddy. Thank you for joining. Appreciate it. So you see, Miley Cyrus, who I would never think of even saying her name on this show, had a legitimate UFO sighting. You know, you have to wonder about celebrities and ETs too. A lot of people think those celebrities, a lot of celebrities, are not who we think they are. And I know you're going to laugh, but if you think of the movie Men in Black, you know, Eddie Murphy, who else? Rambo, who's that guy? Sylvester Stallone. Hey, you, not you. Schwarzenegger, he's a real Terminator. Lot of interesting things. Lots. Look, I am afraid to go deep into the entertainment industry and UFOs. It's a scary place I don't think I want to visit. It's all the other stuff that comes with alien abductions, being taken, you name it. Yeah, very scary. I have a video here I want to play. It's a UFO sighting. And this comes from WTVR CBS 6. And this happened just about a week or two ago. I don't think we played this. I don't remember it, but I think I saw this on another channel. I'm not quite so sure. But let's take a look at this. Now, we've been seeing these more and more, but I think this is just a rocket. I'm not sure. Take a look and tell me what you think.
I'm recording it.
I'm recording it too.
I don't know where it looks like. I don't know. It looks like it's going down now. Whatever it is. For some some reason mine don't want to focus. What the hell?
That's the aliens. They're trying to keep you from seeing it.
Is yours focused?
Uh-huh.
I ain't never seen lights like that.
Me neither. Something ain't right about that. Like, it's going backwards. That's the thing that's killing me, because if it was a plane, the lights would be going the opposite direction. And I ain't never seen a plane go in reverse.
That comment alone speaks volumes as to what people don't know what's in the sky. She has no idea that it could be a meteorite. It could be a rocket. She thinks it's going backwards. I don't see how, but that just goes to show you what people don't know. The average person doesn't know jack squat when it comes to looking up in the sky and seeing things that are mundane. They think they're UFOs, but they're actually there a lot. But this isn't supposed to be there anyway.
And I'm just saying, like, does it look like it's going slower now?
I think it just disappears too. Like everything disappears at once, even the mist.
It ain't even like cloudy out here for it to be leaving that hazy, whatever that is, behind it.
I don't know what that is.
That's a slow one.
It's just one damn light.
My phone just keep.
And now it's like gone. It's gone.
Yep.
Shoot.
No, it just disappeared. So, anybody want to take a guess? Where is New Kent, Georgia? Yeah, there wouldn't be rocket up in that part of New Kent. Oh, look at this! Several people saw it. This has to be space debris, right? It's a SpaceX launch going over Georgia? Williamsburg? Usually they go over the sea, right? Am I wrong? It's definitely not a meteor. It's way too slow. Unless it is near the moon, you know? Well, I don't know. It's in the atmosphere, it looks like. Wow, look at that video. That's badass. It's a rocket. Damn it. It has to be a rocket. It has to be. Yeah, it has to be. It has to be. And it's in space. It's got to be in space. There's a UFO right underneath it. It's not. It's a star. That's a great video, though, nonetheless. That is really awesome. Wow. She sure is pretty. That is beautiful, whatever it is. It's a rocket, right? I don't see. Yeah, it is in space. It's right at the edge. That's what they look like when they're in space. Yep. This is exactly right. Once the engine cuts off, it all disappears. And that's what happened. Yeah, that's all it is. Guys, I'm telling you, that is actually in our orbit, I think. Right? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Because when I see iridium flare satellites, they look like they're 300 feet above me. Those iridium flare satellites, when they get big, they look like they're in the atmosphere, and those are not. They're in orbit. They're satellites. I don't know. We're both right. We're both wrong because we just don't know where it is. Anyway, it was good. It was nice to see people out there with their cameras videotaping something. That's it. That's all that was about. Very good stuff. And I'm going to put a link to all these videos in the show's description so you get to watch them. All right, this is a good one. Let's try this. This lady. Oh, I like this video. This lady in Colorado. But watch this at first, because I've played this before. This is beautiful. This is historic. I love this more than anything. This is one of my favorite clips.
The so-called flying saucers. Since 1947, we have received and analyzed between 1 and 2,000 reports. We can say that the recent sightings are in no way connected with any secret development by any department of the United States.
Now, with that many stars, you tell me there can't be life? You know, there has to be. I always believed there had to be life someplace else, but I watched an awful lot of the X-Files. Other than that, you know, that wasn't my forte. But we started seeing things, and once you've seen something, you get addicted to it.
You get addicted to it. We just talked about this a few days ago. Nice dentures, babe. Yeah, right? She had 29 encounters. But she said something that is very funny. I said this the other day. I was talking about how people think they can talk to aliens or get messages from aliens telepathically. Well, I was saying how I used to get the urge to want to go outside when I haven't been outside looking up for a while. It was an addiction, and that's an addiction. Like, with an addiction, you have to take your drug of choice, whatever it is, to feel better. I was addicted to going outside and looking up, making sure I'm not missing anything addiction. And that's what this lady got into, and we all get into it. Once we see something that's unexplainable and we're positive about it, you're hooked. And if you're not hooked, that's okay too. It's not for everybody, but one thing you can't have, you can, but they have to be just like you as friends. Because they're gonna, let's go out. We haven't been out in a month. Said, I can't. I've got to watch the meteor shower. Forget it. There'll be more of them. Nope. UFOs show up. Can't miss it. Addiction. This lady was addicted to it. I love that because it's true. And I don't think that you're getting messages from aliens. I think you're getting messages from your own heart telling you, look, get out there. You know, it's like the devil and the angel on your shoulders. One's going to say, go out there. And the other one's going to say, what are you doing this for? There's nothing there. That sounds like two devils to me. And two angels. You see?
I want to see more and more and more. I was born and raised in the Denver area. Lived in Wheat Ridge most of my life. Then I moved to Golden and lived on a little mini farm there for 22
Nobody
years.
cares.
Paint horses and moved here. All I heard were UFO stories from the locals.
Did you see her jacket?
From the locals. And I moved.
I'm not weird. I'm gifted. It says right here. Yikes. Oh, look at this one. Oh, look at the pictures and stuff. Yeah, let's take a look. You got an alien, green. What's this? This one here. Interesting news articles. Clone.
Moved here. All I heard were UFO stories from the locals. And I just giggle and say, we need a UFO watchtower, never thinking I would ever do it. And I was working at the gas station in Hooper, and one of the farmers came in one day and he said, you need to put up that UFO watchtower. You'd have fun. So I did, and I've had fun. It's been going for 20 years, and I don't know where the...
Don't worry about a thing, Gigi. Cousins brothers pay me for my bullshittery. I don't have any bullshittery. Watch who you're talking to, sister. Don't want to challenge me in my own fucking house, do you? Do ya? I'm kidding, Gigi. I'm joking. I'm not mad. All right, let's get on to the next grandma. Grandmas and UFOs. That should be the next show. Grandmas Gigi, you would fit perfectly for that. Latest headlines. No, mystery creature caught on camera has authorities stumped. Oh, yeah. You remember this? Watch, I'll bring this up. This was from June, earlier this year. And I always thought this was somebody walking around with an outfit on. But it's on the news. Was it? CNN.
The city of Amarillo, Texas is asking folks to guess, what is this thing? The image was captured last month at 1:25 a.m. by a camera set up inside the Amarillo Zoo, looking out through a perimeter fence. Is it a person with a strange hat who likes to walk at night? City officials asked in a tweet, referring to it as a
So now CNN has lost all their viewers, so they're now starting to do UFO reports. It's amazing.
UAO.
Or crypto reports, whatever.
Wow.
Cryptids,
Let the
sorry.
guesses begin from fantastic Mr. Fox
I don't want to live in a hole anymore.
to Rocket Raccoon from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, yeah.
The camera is motion activated and sends an alert to zoo officials when it captures something. There were some serious theories.
A raccoon standing on its hind legs, or potentially a person walking through the park that just happened to get captured in a peculiar way.
But the public's guesses were more colorful, from Sonic the Hedgehog to the San Antonio Spurs coyote mascot. Someone tweeted the movie Dog Soldiers.
Got it. We got it. Thank you, David Wilcox, for the $13.81 PayPal support. Yahoo! And that goes right back into the show. It's going to definitely help me get out to Orlando and to go on the. I want to hit Disney World, and I still haven't gone. So that's what it's for. And also in December when I go see the Cousins brothers and hang out in St. Augustine, and we're talking about going to see the oldest haunted lighthouse in America. Yeah. So very excited. It's only 2 hours from where I live. Yeah. I may go out there and take a look around and maybe make a video about it. Then come back and do a show. I may do that. May do it tomorrow, I'm thinking. It's supposed to be, it was 88 degrees today. It was warm. But it wasn't hot. So I think we'll be fine. I usually drive at night or early in the morning. Yeah, I hate the sun. I don't like it. Oh, wait, tomorrow's Sunday. I thought tomorrow was Monday. All right, now Monday, not tomorrow. Tomorrow I am going on, well, it's not going to be live, but I'll be doing the recorded interview with Wayne for Michigan UFOs and paranormal events. What's the name of it? What's the Michigan? I keep forgetting the whole name. Michigan UFO sightings and paranormal events, something like that. Encounters. That's it. What else do we got here tonight? Oh yeah. Hold on. Are we living in a Truman Show? Are we living in the Truman Show? According to Greer, we are. Have you ever heard him say that before? When it comes to the UFO world, it is like living in the Truman Show. It is. They know everything we're doing. Look, personally for me, I believe in my heart tells me that Lou Elizondo has listened in and or hacked, followed, or monitored our conversation somehow, some way. I don't know how, and this is only my opinion, but I feel like that has happened and or happening. I really do. I really, 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 really do. Now, on the other end of that, probably not. I don't think I or many of us are that important to anything he is doing, because I think everything Lou Elizondo has done was for purposeful distraction. Everything. It's a distraction. I just figured this out. It has nothing to do with anything but distracting on what we should be talking about. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And that's another bad argument. That's another bad argument. That doesn't fit either. We're going to talk about it no matter what. So what is Lou really? Lou is Richard Butt, and it is The Truman Show.
Governments can't die. So we need to find other incentives for bureaucracy to adapt and improve. The technology revolution has transformed organizations across the private sector, but not ours, not fully, not yet. We are, as they say, tangled in our anchor chain. Our financial systems are decades old. According to some estimates, we cannot track $2.3 trillion in transactions.
Well, you don't just have $2, $3, $10 trillion vanish. There's a whole system in place, and it comes from many different budgets. And then a big part of the funding comes from private endeavors. So it isn't just government, it's private and government together. So I call this a hybrid entity that's neither strictly government nor strictly private. And interestingly, from a secrecy point of view, as a private entity, corporate or citizen, penetrate these projects, it's top secret national security. Most of the work being done on this are private corporations, Northrop, Raytheon, the old E-Systems, EG&G, and they'll say, well, it's proprietary, you see? So if you come from the government, it's proprietary. If you come from corporate or civilian, it's top secret government. So they kind of wall it off, they play that game. It's like the Truman Show. If you look at that old show, Jim Carrey is playing this guy who his whole life is raised in this sort of fake set and wakes up one day and realizes my whole life has been this staged thing. So I think most people don't realize we're living in somebody's big Truman Show here. The controllers, I call them, who orchestrate these things.
And it's true. We go to the buildings that they build when we have to go to hospitals. We go to the movie theaters when they build them to give the entertainment. We go to the sports facilities when they build them. We go to their libraries, their courthouses, their DMVs, their post offices. We go to all their buildings. We have to. They know everything we're doing, especially if you own a smartphone. They know where you're going. Even when you take your chip out of your phone, they know where you're going. Your phone is monitored at all times. You know, I found out that I didn't install this, but there was an app on the phone. I can't remember what it was. It was something like MOBI, like short for mobile, maybe I or invasion, I don't know. But it saw how fast I went when I braked hard. It monitored my driving. No, and it wasn't for Progressive Insurance or something like Geico or anything like that. I mean, this wasn't me. And that was an app that was on my phone. It was MOB-I. I screenshot it on the phone. I have it somewhere in my photo album here, but scary. Yeah, I'm like, what is this? I was getting rid of apps and I opened it up to see if I wanted to keep it, right? And I'm like, what? Wait, that's me. That was weird. Unless it was an app I opened and didn't know it, I doubt it. There's 3 steps. You know, you got to click on it. You have to click on it to install it. And then it asks you, are you sure? So then, yeah. And let's see, on Reddit, ex-CIA pilot said 5 to 10 alien civilizations visiting Earth, and they are hostile. 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 Let's take a look at this shenanigans. I thought it was a news story. The first sentence, a former CIA pilot, John Lear. And I said, that's it. I'm not reading anymore. All right, I'll read it. Did you know he dedicated part of his life to serve in the Air Force and then worked for the CIA? He died this year, March 29th. It sent ripples through the worlds of aviation and conspiracy theories. Lear was widely known for his claims about UFOs in Area 51, but also for a lifetime of daring exploits in everything that could fly. During the Vietnam era, he flew cargo planes. Ba-ba-da-ba-da. John Lear talked about a July 1987 incident when an enormous UFO reportedly followed a cargo plane over Anchorage, Alaska, and a 1975 incident when UFOs reportedly hovered over Strategic Air Command bases. Investigative journalist George Knapp asked Lear about the church's view of UFOs in the interview in On the Record, a 30-minute TV show broadcast on KLAS-TV in Las Vegas in the late summer of '87. Knapp, you said before you thought that a lot of their intentions were hostile, and you've mentioned before that a lot of the sightings around the military bases, why don't we see them here? Las Vegas, we've got 1 million military bases here. John Lear. Well, in fact, the fact that there have been a lot of reports of UFOs in around Las Vegas, not specifically over the Air Force bases. We have the test site, and of course, we don't know what's going on there. And we have Nellis Air Force Base, but there have not really been a lot of sightings over there. The main Air Force sightings were in '75, and the UFOs descended on every Strategic Air Command base guarding the perimeter of the northern United States. They hovered over the nuclear weapons storage area, and they stayed there with impunity for up to 2 and 3 hours over a period of 3 days. And no video? No video? Not even from a citizen? Like a citizen couldn't have been driving by and seen that, or somebody flying over it? In '75, we did have cameras. Yeah. The problem is not only just the fact that there are 5 and as many as 10 different civilizations visiting us, apparently, and this is from the research that I've done, he says, at least 90% of them are hostile. And when I say hostile, if not hostile, they have a completely different set of morals than we do, he added. If that's true, my friends, the beginning of the end has already begun. And with that, I will give you a final thought on today's show. We listened to Greer be interviewed by Curt Jaimungal on Theories of Everything. The link will be in the show's description as soon as the show ends, within a few minutes. We heard different things and different claims from all sorts of questions that were asked, and some of them answered, some of them I still don't know what the answers are. But that is ufology, my friends. Whether Greer be talking, I be talking, you be talking, Eleganzo be talking, doesn't matter who it is. Nobody knows. Only those within the tight little group of people that run this great country world that we live in know the answers. And even then, they still don't know everything, I bet. So, with Greer's interesting interview and some challenging points made, we're still at a place where we can say, huh? Right? I mean, what's changed? Greer didn't open my eyes to anything. Eleganzo doesn't. No one person or entity or anything can open up my eyes in this field any longer. Not because I've been in it for a while. That's because I heard everything. What is somebody going to say that's going to impress you? The only thing you want to hear at this point is, where are the aliens? Show them to me. Or their UFO technology or UFOs. I'm ready to see it. But as a group, as a whole, as a world, we're not ready. And I just watched the movie Contact the other day. And it's true. We need to take baby steps. And here's how I see it. Every 10 years, we get something new. We're almost there, to the point to where we could say unequivocally, without a doubt, that aliens are here and they're observing us and they're not hostile or hostile. We don't know. But we sure as hell don't have evidence now. Right? It's all circumstantial. It is. A lot of theories. And let me tell you, there is no physical evidence other than the redacted and unredacted forms of literature that we could find through FOIA requests or in history books, whatever. But even with the interview with Greer, we still don't have any answers. We have hopes. And as part 4 of the Star Wars Enterprise, hope is where I'd like to keep it. Until we get the evidence, hope is where the heart is. Hope is where the heart is. Thank you, moderators and super chatters. Thank you very much for your support. Phenomenal. Again, let me make sure I didn't miss anybody on the Cash App or PayPal. Nope, everything's good there. And I want to thank the newcomers and the veterans and Curt Jaimungal of Theories of Everything for giving the show the ability to use your video and interview. And thank you for hanging out for a few minutes. And everybody else, the newcomers and veterans, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we try to do one thing here, and I think we do it effectively no matter what you hear. Because when it comes down to just goof on me, myself, I think I've done a hell of a job giving you truthology for ufology. You know it's true. Have a great rest of your weekend. And don't forget to see me tomorrow. Oh, I won't be on tomorrow. I'll be doing an interview with Wayne. But we will be back tomorrow. Have a good weekend. Tomorrow's Sunday. Alien bless.